Now, as we wrap up the year in Rwanda, 2024 has been a defining one for the country. It marked major genocide commemorations and general elections that secured Paul Kagame another 5 years in office after an already 24 years presidency. Rwanda is often celebrated for its economic success, but this year also brought renewed scrutiny over its human rights record, lack of personal freedoms and inequalities. Reporting from Kigali, here's Clément Di Roma.
30 years after the 1994 genocide against the Tutsis, Rwanda's 14 million citizens went through a packed and emotional year. In April, the nation paused to commemorate the genocide that claimed around 1 million lives. We saw firsthand how survivors remember these atrocities, the justice that some still seek, and the psychological trauma passed down to younger generations. Many Rwandans under 30 that I met this year carry the burden of inherited trauma. Even if they were not born at the time of events, it is striking to see how these young people are affected by depression and other mental health problems as a result of the traumatic experiences lived by their families. A month later, Paul Kagame was re-elected with over 99% of the vote. During his campaign, Kagame emphasized maintaining economic progress and infrastructure development under the slogan Kagame 100%, plastered across the country. Western NGOs denounced at the time the election as undemocratic, noting his limited opposition. When we interviewed Frank Habineza, the only opponent with an authorized party, he called for greater democratic freedoms. However, he also acknowledged Rwanda's economic progress. Since 2000, extreme poverty has dropped by 40 to 16%, according to the UN. Tourism revenue approached $600 million this year, and industries like luxury goods and gastronomy are emerging. One report in particular that we have done this year stands out when we talk about the stark contrast between emerging rich, who are the product of the economic success of the country, and a part of the rural population that still lives with less than $2 per day. We went to see Kigali's high-end restaurants and local eateries serving most of the population. Just take a look.
Japanese plums, beet chips and zucchini puree meticulously put together.
There you go. It's well garnished with the flowers and everything. Bon appétit.
In Kigali, Chef Claude has been developing high-end local cuisine for 8 years and coordinates an association of 400 professionals. With the rise of the Rwandan economy, one of the most dynamic in Africa, luxurious restaurants are multiplying to cater to wealthy tourists and business travelers.
Many new hotels come with international standards, 5 stars or more. They require premier service and obviously need high-end clients. So we have to be able to satisfy these people.
A dish here can cost around $10, but nearly half of Rwandans live on less than $2 a day. In the suburbs, this cook prepares rice, beans and potatoes in large quantities for workers. His dishes only cost $1, but prices have risen in recent years.
The costs of some products increase every day, and it complicates our lives. My salary cannot be increased because my restaurant is always spending more to buy products.
To fight inflation, the government has regulated the prices of raw materials. But on the eve of the elections, consumers are demanding new measures.
I want food prices to go down and match my salary. If I earn 1,500 francs a day, then I should be able to buy my meal for an equivalent price.
The high cost of basic products is one of the rare public criticism Rwandans openly make about Paul Kagame's record.
Rwanda faces significant challenges still. Paul Kagame has been in power for 24 years, ruling the country with an iron grip. Journalists and political opponents continue to face imprisonment or exile, as we have seen with the case of 8 Rwandan opposition members arrested in 2021, including one YouTuber whose trials have been repeatedly postponed. And regionally, Kigali's relations with neighbors Burundi and the DR Congo have grown increasingly strained, fueled by the ongoing conflict in North Kivu. And domestically here, despite Rwanda's so-called economic miracle, well, youth unemployment remains a pressing issue. During our report outside of Kigali, we've seen development and new infrastructures, but also the persistent struggles of the rural population, many of whom survive on just a few dollars a day. In 2023, unemployment among those under 30 stood at 18%, and the post-COVID economic context has only worsened matters, with high prices squeezing household budgets. But as inflation begins to decline, there is cautious optimism that Rwanda's economy will stabilize and offer better opportunities for its people.